you guys, and I hope you're having a blessed up Thursday, that you had a very efficient and self-loving and loving towards others Valentine's. Today we're going to be on day 15. We are literally halfway through 30 days of building self-worth, and today is all about shape-shifting overwhelm into, I'm going to share with you right now. Just make sure that you get your calendar. Also tomorrow, if you want, I'm doing a free workshop / webinar at 7:30 Eastern, making sure you guys are inside of the VIP email list and you get your commitment contract of just pouring in self-appreciation, building your self-worth. It really is the micro things that lead to the macro. So I hope you're having a great day today. Let's get into this session. I had a lot of actually epiphanies, and I'm going to share a few stories with you today. I know you're going to find a lot of value from it. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that share button, because that's all I ask, that you guys just share awareness, spread the awareness, and let's get into this. So today is 15. We're halfway through, and it's no making reason to be overwhelmed. So today's no reason to be making yourself feel overwhelmed. And let's get into what is overwhelm anyway. If you're tapped into emotions, you can identify it. First and foremost, I realized working with people and teaching emotional intelligence is, before understanding anything, you have to be available to even feel it. And a lot of times we've got all these emotions, and when you have all these responsibilities as an entrepreneur or a parent or whatever roles, tasks, and responsibilities you've taken on in your life, there can be a time where you're not sure, what is this feeling that I'm feeling? So overwhelm, being able to identify it, giving it a dictionary name, just means you're feeling buried. You're feeling like you got the world on top of your shoulders and you're just barely freaking breathing. You're like, I don't know how I'm operating. I don't know how I'm going to achieve all this stuff. This is my list today. And you're like, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do it. It's you're and you start to just have a panic attack. So there's no reason to start looking for overwhelm. And I'll share a quick story. So I was driving I joined a hot yoga studio, because I just was like, man, I need some hot yoga. What do I need? And I'm driving to a hot yoga studio. It's a new studio. I'm a little bit unfamiliar with it. I put it in my Waze, and I'm driving, and the moment that I put it in there, I was familiar with where I was going, but I wasn't 100% certain. So as I put this in my Waze, what happened was I felt this rush of trust come over. I know where I'm going. I'm going to see where I go. And then if I have to look over, I at least have something that's reliable. And then something switched. I had an epiphany in that moment through driving directions. And the epiphany was that, what are the things in your life that are reliable? And then I started thinking, well, what is the difference between reliability and consistency? And what I found was that reliability is more of a leading factor to trust. So when somebody, think about, for example, your favorite brands, the places that you eat at, the people that you pick up the phone to when things are hard, or even when things are great. Sometimes you want to make sure you have the right people in place when things are really good to share the news with. Not everybody's going to be happy for you, but that's a whole nother conversation. And so who are the people, places, and things in your life that are reliable, that you know that are trustworthy, and they're constantly and pretty consistent? And so consistency and reliability can intertwine, but they're not the same thing. And what I mean by this is consistency, you can have a pattern of how you handle things in moments of feeling overwhelmed. For example, there's a vagus nerve in our body, and when we are triggered by something where you're feeling overwhelmed or anxiety or depression or whatever negative thoughts and emotions get brought up, and that vagus nerve is triggered, what happens is that vagus nerve is connected to appetite and thirst. So when we have this being triggered, it triggers our cravings, our desires, and then for the most part, we don't know if we're hungry. So if you're somebody who has a history of emotional hunger, and you start to eat or you drink or you call the people that throw you off, there's a consistent pattern that's self-destructive. So consistency doesn't always lead to reliability, because reliability is something that leads to things that we can lean on and we can trust, that are going to get us to where our goals are. They're not everything that we do, the patterns that we have, or even the patterns that we have people in our lives are going to be reliable, but they might be consistent, because consistency is showing up. But are they consistently in alignment with where you're going? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, this is like giving you guys like a little crossword puzzle, and that's how my mind thinks. I feel like all this work really is a puzzle, and it's a puzzle of your life to figure out the right pieces that go in the right season. Because I was listening to an audio this morning, and it was about like there's a certain things that happen in life where we're consistent and we take it with us, but that was for last season. So it got us to a certain point that led to a certain level of success. But as you feel a calling to go to another level, that thing, that thought pattern, that habit, that behavior is blocking your blessings. And sometimes those things can even lead to our greater sense of overwhelm, because we are being consistent with something that is not reliable. And one thing that I was thinking of today, because I took off yesterday, what are my priorities? My grandfather's in town. I haven't seen him like practically all year. He comes down once a year. And so I moved everything over, so I'm cramming things in for the next few days, plus the free workshop tomorrow. So make sure you sign in. It's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll put an email out with the Google link. And these are all the things that I need to get done today that are non-negotiables. If I have a little bit of wiggle room, it's going to happen. Now, I'm being straight up with you. I just started my day because I knew what I needed to do in order for me to be reliable and consistent with delivering things at the highest capacity possible. I woke up, I was like, I did feel overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I took the whole day off yesterday. There's a lot of things that need to get accomplished. I need a little bit of extra time because I'm still new to certain areas that I'm establishing skill sets and stuff like that. So how do I get my mind as sharp? How do I make sure my energy is super sharp? And what I did was I got up, I spent time with God, I read the Bible, like what are the things that are going to sharpen your axe? And those are the things you have to ask yourself in this season of my life. Spirituality, my body, my health, like all those things are then going to pour into everything that's what I'm doing, so I can do it in a space where I don't feel overwhelmed, that I've got this. I feel a segment of like this unfazed confidence, this certainty, and this way I could relay and be a reliable source for you guys and for my clients and for the inner circle and for the projects and the programs and everything that I'm creating. But all of that comes back to first being an extension of what I'm putting out into the world. And so I say this to you guys because I really want you to think about the patterns that you have happening in your life. Are they reliable towards the goals that you're trying to achieve and in your business and in your life? Or are they things that are patterns that are self-destructive? And so anytime you're feeling a segment of overwhelm, I want you to think about where you can go back in time and you can get really clear of making a list of those things that are reliable towards you. And you can even start with like, what are my favorite brands? What are my favorite people? What are my favorite foods that are going to get me in alignment from where I am to where I want to go? Not everything is going to be in sync and in alignment to where you want to go, depending on what season you're on in your business and your life, depending on what your dreams and what your goals are, and those goals and dreams that God has specifically and intentionally placed inside of your heart and inside of your mind. So that is day 15. We are halfway through 30 days of building self-worth. And so I hope you guys are having a blessed up day. And make sure you share this post. Tomorrow I'm doing a free webinar at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The link is going to be inside the email list, so you can click the link in the bio. Or what you can do is you can go to tanyacoliver.com/calendar and you can get that in your email directly inside of there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a blessed up day. And make sure you do some good stuff for yourself. Bye.